Mic check. I'm not on mute,
All
right?
good, all good.
Okay. All right. So for those who don't know me, my name is Justin. It's going to be a long-winded introduction, but I think it's important to provide some background. So I own Al Phillips here in Las Vegas. I co-founded Magnoli with my partner, Mike. He's on the technical side. I'm on the operator side. All right. So I was born and raised in the dry cleaning industry. Many of you may know. I'm also a veteran. I led communication software projects for the Air Force. So I started my dry cleaning journey 7 years ago. I took over from my parents. Two small stores in the greater Los Angeles area. We have 5 employees, did about 400K annually. And so I learned and lived every job. And so by that, I don't mean like a few hours a day or, or just a couple days, like for years, right? 12 hours a day, full dry cleaner experience, 7 days a week, and a lot of these white monsters that I'm still hooked on. All right, so everything from detailing, dry cleaning, machine maintenance, finishing, alterations, getting yelled at by angry customers. I mean, we all know the deal, right? So somehow those two stores turned into a 20,000 square foot plant and 14 drop stores and 120 employees. And so that's where I'm at right now. When I first got here, as you'd imagine, trying to be everywhere at once got old really quick. And so I had this little light bulb go off. And it's like, hey, we're in the age of communication. I tell people what to do, but words don't really hold accountability. Systems and documentation do, right? And that's the reality of it. And so I came to the conclusion that software, when we use it correctly, can be a force multiplier for your business. So now you have questions, right? It's what software, right? You need one for payroll, one for your time clock, one for HR, right? Blah, blah, blah. And so you end up with all these little apps that help with little parts of your business. And you either forget about them and you don't use them and you keep paying that subscription, or we use them and we create these spreadsheets to like piecemeal all this scattered information together just to make that like one data-driven decision, right? And so ain't no one got time for that. We're dry cleaners, we're working, we're busy. A lot of times we just go with our gut, right? That's what we do best. And so, in terms of software, we need one that tracks more than just an order life cycle, right? Yeah, we're a logistics business, but we're a people business, we're service. So we need systems to train our employees, hold them accountable, and really recognize strong performance, because I'm sure we're all in the same boat. Finding good people is really hard. So when we find those good ones, like, we want to give them a reason to stick around. At the same time, we also need to ask ourselves, what kind of customer experience are we providing? And I think that goes beyond the storefront in this day and age. Customers see it everywhere else, right? A modern, convenient technology experience. And so fair or not, like, they expect it from our industry as well. All right, so long story short, I'm really talking about two financial metrics here. They're the only ones we can meaningfully influence as dry cleaners, and that's labor and sales. And so that's kind of the premise behind why I built Magnoli, because we provide tools to control this. So I'm obviously not a good salesman. I'm an operator. But we're here to sell you on our product, and what sold me is on this idea is that, right? So now to circle it all back. So we want to stop losing garments and customers, essentially stop losing money. And so for that, you need the tools to systemize your business, hold your employees accountable down to the item level, and identify and win back your lost customers. So our software is pretty cool, but I'm sold on our team, right? I'm very proud of our team. It's a team that understands the industry, but also understands the latest and greatest technology. If you told me 5 years ago I'd still be working those 12-hour days, I'd probably go nuts, but here I am. Only difference is I'm doing it with people who are up as late as me and just as passionate as me. And so I'm very happy to be here. I'm always a dry cleaner first, right? So I know it's a big deal when your boiler doesn't start. Um, Same way it's a big deal when your software doesn't work. An hour of downtime rolls downhill, right? It hits your utility bills, it hits your payroll costs, but ultimately it affects the customer. And so before we start this demo, I want to tell you about our real product, and that's our people, our responsiveness, our relentless, like ongoing development, and the relationships we build with you. Because we don't see customers as customers, they're our partners, because your success means our success. So thanks for listening to my little speech there. We'll go straight into the demo. All right, you guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, great. So we're going to start on the customer-facing portal. And so in 2026, we got to think of this as our virtual storefront. So think about it like this might be your customer's first and only impression of your business, right? And so let's walk through this. So here you can manage your order history, right? You can check out your wardrobe, and it's an excuse for me to show off my cool guitars, right? But imagine these are pictures of clothes, right? You can go into these, see multiple photos. So this would display your attention to detail as a dry cleaner, right? Add notes. Customers can add their own photos, edit their own details as well. All right. Manage your orders, your pickup requests. If I have an order here and I'm happy with it, and go down, say I loved it, I go straight to my Google page here as well. You can also do that as a text message, but pretty simple, slick customer portal. Other cool things we have here, you can manage your recurring pickups, any subscriptions if you do subscriptions. I've done one that's pretty cool, and it's 20% off everything. This is a legit one I have. Keep in mind, this is all like demo data, right? But this is something I do, and people might say like, oh, why would you just give people 20% off? It's a pretty cheap membership. It's $50 a year, right? But I noticed that customers before and after the membership had like totally different behavior. So it was about a 20% increase in average ticket size and maybe one extra order a month. And so the overall revenue I'm generating for that customer increased pretty substantially from that. So, just a little cool thing that I've learned just by going through the data, right? All right, so from there, we're just gonna go straight into the point of sale, and just give me 1 second here. Log me out. All right. So this is what your counter staff sees, right? And it's only what your counter staff needs to see. So, they can see if they see any red here, that means there's an action item, right? So they can see how many orders are late. Down here, they can see how many drop bags they still need to detail. Down here, if this lights up, that means they have customer messages that aren't read, so on and so forth. They can see their time here, take their meal break, rest breaks. More on that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and detail an order. Or I'll just make one myself here. All right, so standard drop ticket here in order. So put in barcode. We have a pretty cool functionality here where you can use hotkeys, right? Eventually this becomes like muscle memory. So if I know like a dress shirt's like this, detailing can be pretty fast, right? Also touchscreen compatible, you know, all that kind of stuff here. Pictures worth 1,000 words, so we have, detailed patterns, right? But I don't have to ever click my mouse here. So that's pretty cool. I could also add photos. I could add multiple photos. Let's take one right now. Oh, that's me. I'll choose for the camera here. We'll do one like so, all right? And then we can go on to the next page here. Choose my service, any special cares, assembly groupings, alterations. Easy as
Hey,
that.
Justin, I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Um, when you say barcoded, does that mean that all the customers' garments that you process have to have a barcode?
No. Um, I started on a ticket system, just with manual tags, right, that I got from Cleaner Supply, right? But
Okay.
so we like I've done it every way, and so we've considered every way, right?
I
Because we
mean,
know,
it's faster with barcodes. I get that because you don't have to load everything, but I just didn't know if that was a mandatory thing or not. Because I don't even know how many cleaners do barcodes, but I know it's grown in popularity over the last 10 years.
yeah, no, that's a great question. So you can set it to where there's no barcodes, and you can just itemize like so, and just do it. Just get the barcodes. Um, it'll just print a invoice, and then you just staple on the tags, right? So you can do it that way as well. All right. So, you know, it's inevitable we're going to end up losing a garment at some point, right? Or it's going to go missing. And you don't want to end up with a bunch of claims. Um, we have AI built in, and it's pretty cool. And it gives us a way to kind of easily track down an order. So if I go like, I'm missing a pair, or not a pair, let's go. I'm missing a Nike Polo, right? Let's see what's going here. And it shows me all orders with polos in it. I can pull it up here. And so if I identified the order number here, right, and I could just go straight to the order if I wanted to. It's pretty cool, pretty convenient. A lot of our customers and their operators love it because it helps nail down that piece because new counter staff might have forgotten to slap a barcode on there or slap the wrong one on there. It got lost, right? That's probably the more likely scenario. So
Yeah. Hey Justin, real quick. So in that scenario, I know I'm missing a Nike Polo, or I found a Nike Polo and I don't
um,
know where it goes.
great question. So it works either way, all right?
Okay.
So I can look at the Nike Polo and then I can track down like who had it last or which station I had it last, right?
Got it. Because you're scanning at every station for pressing and everything else.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And then regarding stations, that's part of the reason why we do unlimited stations. So for us, we want our operators to maximize, like use every functionality of the system because we worked really hard to develop it, right? And so, um, yeah, no, I think it's important to and game changing to have production station at least your pressing stations,
Yeah. No,
at least.
agree.
But
So
great. Mhm.
yeah, no, I guess my next follow-up, because this happens to me a lot too. This is why I'm curious about it. But we will put we'll assemble an order, we'll put it in bagging, right? And then it doesn't actually get scanned on a rack, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just us that does it, but it happens quite a bit for us. How, like, would you be able to like use this to take care of it?
To identify it, yeah, so you can. So here, for example, we show items that have not been placed on our hanging inventory, right? So this is what the clerk would see. they would see, okay, these items aren't hung up, and I can go into those and put them on our hanging inventory here. Right?
But I guess my question is there a way? Because usually what happens is it gets piggybacked and put into another another order.
Oh, into another order.
Yeah, you mean like it's a one item or something like that, and someone puts it in another like would I guess from a troubleshooting perspective, what I end up doing is I look to see what was bagged at that same time, right, and kind of look before and after, see where that was racked. Right? Like it's that.
Yes,
is that something that?
Yes, that's something that we offer.
Okay.
When we go to we'll just go straight there. So on our assisted assembly, we keep logs of all the timestamps, right? And so you can look through those logs and see exactly when, what came before and after timestamps, right? We also have preventative measures. So the way we do assembly is, if you do use assisted assembly, like we use a combination of assisted, manual, as well as we have a metal Progetti assembly carousel. But as you scan items here, like 675309, it's my go-to barcode. Learned that one from Rick. Oh, it's not a real one. As I scan them, 867. Let me see if this is a real barcode. There it is. Okay. As I scan them and they light green, that means they're ready. We don't print the ticket right away. We print it when the assembler is ready to print them, and they have the slot numbers on them. And so the reason we do that is so that when I'm scanning, I can keep scanning and putting them on their designated slots. And when I'm ready, then I extract all of them at the same time. And so that also helps prevent misbagging. If that makes sense.
So right now in Smart, an order gets completed, right? Because we have 4 items on a given order, right? It automatically prints. You're saying this doesn't automatically print.
There's a functionality to do that.
Yeah.
But we also have the functionality as we have it set up
hold on.
where it when you're ready, it prints. Because I ran into issues where it would print. My assembly bay person wouldn't hear it because it's loud in the plant, and they would keep scanning. And then the worst case scenario, that slot opens up and you put another piece there, and then you end up with 4 pieces, one from another customer. So these are all like different like edge cases we thought of, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it work with the Julietta too? The metal okay. So that obviously prints as it bags, correct? Because it's got the label maker, right?
Correct. Yeah. So the metal's a different approach there. But yes, we're fully integrated with assembly. I have a dispatch storage conveyor, dispatch arms, and I have 4 kiosks. And so we're integrated with all those as well. But yeah, no, it would assemble the orders and then go to the bagger, and then the label maker would slap that on the bag.
Perfect.
All right. So stations, we have all sorts of stations. I'll just show you the pressing one. All right. 675309. Let's try 4 this time. 675309.
Wait a minute. Huey, is that a Huey Lewis song?
Is that Huey Lewis?
Yeah. I don't know who's saying that.
So as I scan, right, I can check my logs and my stats here, right? As I find one here with, anything with special instructions, you can flag it. So you don't have to do it for everything, right? I do, because I want my presser to acknowledge that an alteration's been done, because what I see is sometimes things get clean first, then go to alterations, but the cleaner might just send it straight to pressing, right? So I make sure that they acknowledge it, right? So then they must acknowledge to continue. So I think those are important things. It's fully in Espanol as well, right? Which is helpful. And we have a leaderboard because nothing wrong with friendly competition. I think everyone inherently wants to do good job, right? And so we need a baseline to kind of show what a good job is, right? In terms of like production numbers. At the same time, I think people are inherently competitive. So if I see my buddy, he's his PPOH for the day is like at like 30 or whatever, right? I want to be 32, right? So it creates this friendly sense of competition. What I do is once a week, I'll see who my best performing presser is, and I'll just go give them like a $50 gift card. I won't say anything, and they'll know. This is also able to just get casted onto a TV if you're on the same Wi-Fi.
What's the I do that internally. So I love the idea of this dashboard, Justin, and so I'm a big fan. The bigger problem that I have is that I like automatically sign out of Smart and like the token doesn't refresh and things like that. Do you are you how have you guys built around that?
So what's it called? You can sign in and out. You can put in a timeout or not. But if you're signed in for the day, like that's your computer, like for the pressing stations, right? We have internal ways to make sure that person logged in is logged in, right? But you have the option to sign out after X amount of inactivity if you wanted to.
No, I mean just by the displaying of the dashboard, right? Like my bigger problem is now that the web page times out and logs me out.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
a problem for you? Like I have it on a screen at the corner of the dry cleaner, right? So everyone sees it, but every once in a while, I end up getting logged out of Smart, and because of timeouts and refresh rates and stuff like that. So,
Oh, gotcha.
uh,
No, you don't have to worry about that.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Also, this is also their time clock, right? So you can, clock in and out of meal breaks, paid breaks. We have just one rest break here, but whatever your state or city regulatory rules are. Um, there's even like very nuanced settings. So like we'll get into scheduling here in a second, but you can set it so that people can't clock in until 5 minutes before their shift starts. And on the flip side, if they take a meal break, right after 5 minutes of that meal break, then they can't clock out until like 28 minutes of that meal break. So I know it sounds like I'm like nickel and diming here, but the savings I got from not allowing people to clock in before they're supposed to, or making sure they take their mandated 30-minute lunch, it saved me like 50K over a year, because it adds up. Because just because they clock in from lunch early doesn't mean they're going to clock out for the day early, right? And so that might become overtime if they're scheduled for 8 hours or 8.5, right? And so that overtime builds up really quick, and so I think labor control is a area that we can all save money on. It's a thing I constantly look at. And so regarding schedule, every user can see their schedule for the week. They can go in here, they can add comments, like, and they'll go to their manager, right? They can request time off. It's all managed through this portal here. So we'll switch gears for a second and go to our, that's more or less production, right? Obviously we have them for, different positions, alterations, spotting, inspection. I think I'm missing some outdoor services, right? For things going to and from vendors, right? To make sure you're billed correctly, you receive correctly, you send correctly. But let's move on to the driver app here, because I'm sure folks might have questions on our delivery app. So it's also mobile friendly. So I'm on a route here, see the map. Here I can drag and drop stops if I wanted. I can optimize the route, and I'll do that. But let's say I want to drop off Justin's order first. All right, I can start driving. Oops, that'll bring up the map, but go here, mark it as delivered. And take a picture to make sure it got to the front door, right? And then move on to my next stop.
Just like Amazon, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you, Justin? What do you use to schedule the route itself? Like what's used to calculate what stops are next?
That's a tool.
Or is that is
That's a question for my devs. Like what's actually optimizing the route?
yeah, like I guess let me ask this, maybe I should assume it. Do we optimize the route in here? And if so,
Correct,
what's it
correct. So
used?
yeah, so we optimize the route, but like how it does it, I'm sure we use our own internal system we built. But yeah, that's a question for like I don't know. I
Okay.
just know
Yeah.
we're working on it.
I,
Do
I
they,
just
yeah. Do
I
the
just know. Oops, sorry again.
No, go ahead.
Uh, I just know we don't optimize today
Mhm.
because of some of the pain points that it creates.
Mm.
Um, so just curious about how it kind of works. Sorry,
No,
Kim.
that's
Go ahead.
fair. I'll get back to you with more details. But at the same time, I feel like, if something's not like truly optimized, you're like, this should go before here. Like it's very easy to also drag and drop,
Got
or
it.
if
Yeah,
somebody, it's like Fraser is like, I need my stuff right now, right? He can move them up, right? So, all right.
Kim, do you want to jump in there? Sorry.
Yeah, I just wondered, how do they request a pickup? Do they just do it on your site, or do they receive a text message, or how do you know who you're going to see that day?
So you can request one on online, right? You can
Okay.
also call and like manually do it, but you can request on online. It'll auto add even a new customer to a route based off of their location, right? So if I
Okay.
have like this area of town is under Route 83 or however you name it, right? Then it'll auto go to that route. The driver will get a text message. Obviously it'll give some lead time, like you can't request one like, or you can, there's settings to do that, but like if you don't want someone to request one and expect to pick up in 20 minutes, right, then you can
Yeah.
change those thresholds and
Okay.
request a pickup. You can make it a recurring if you want, right? And so if I
So
do
the
that,
customer can do all that themselves,
correct.
basically, when they get in. Okay.
Mhm.
Very cool. Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
cool.
and then it'll automatically assign them to a route if you have your automations that way. All right. And
I
actually,
have,
here goes.
yeah.
Hey, Lucy.
So for the pickup and delivery, is it possible to like give our own business branding on it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is Magnoli's account. I'll show you my account here. Phillips.dry cleaning delivery. This is my cleaners here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's indexed. So if someone looks up dry cleaning delivery, they're gonna see your subdomain.
Okay, and like if I'm not in the like laundromat, then how do I come to know that somebody has like signed up with my services?
Oh, if they sign up, so you'll get an email, right? It's also managed in our backend. So HQ here, this is for your managers, right? For the owners. So I would see it pop up on my schedule, right? I would
Okay,
see like,
I need to always access it on like a laptop or something.
no, 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 everything's mobile friendly.
Okay.
Yeah, um, yeah. So
Hey,
What exactly?
Justin,
yeah,
Go ahead.
can you hear me?
yeah.
I was just a quick question about that route again. Is like if the customer gets blinged at like 7 o'clock at night, like Smart does our customer route customers, and if they don't answer, it sends us automatically to their home, and then they don't have anything. Does this system do the same kind of scenario?
You can actually choose how you want that, and let me find where that is. But you can choose. Oh, I think it's in the route level itself. Second. So you can choose if someone wants to opt into a route if they're recurring or opt out.
Okay, it's just like if the customer gets the nightly 7 o'clock at night, do you have anything for the driver to pick up tomorrow? And if they don't reply, it automatically puts it on her phone to go there. And then we're constantly calling to try to save gas mileage, and they don't have anything because they didn't answer their text message that the night prior to delivery day.
Right. No, very fair. And so,
Try route settings.
So over here, if you see my screen on pickup confirmation, right, you can choose how long before you want to send that, and if it's an auto cancel when there's no response, or opt out only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can choose which way. If you do want to have that confirmation, you can choose if it's an opt in or opt out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I ran a route for, I'm the owner. I ran a route for one of my drivers, called off sick. I go to the people's house, they don't have anything, and I look on Smart and it says they never replied, so Smart automatically sends you.
Mhm.
And it's just like it was 30 miles one way. You know what I mean? It was
Jeez.
like, yeah, it was like,
Jeez.
There's a just I know this is a smart thing, but there's a setting on there to change that.
Yeah, yeah. So
So, so yeah,
yes,
there's a way to opt in.
yeah. So we give you the choice of if we auto cancel if there's no response, or we only cancel if they text don't come or something. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No,
Hey,
great question.
Justin.
Mhm.
Alex with Wolf's Cleaners over here. So I have a question regarding the workflow for the routes. So say you have a business on there. For example, we're out of Milwaukee and we have, a business that might have 7 orders all going at one. How would that workflow on the app, on the driver app work? Would he have to take a picture for all 7 orders like that?
If you want him to, or you could have all 7 in one. It would consolidate it into one stop.
The business account essentially into one.
Yeah. So yeah, it would show it as one stop. So it's not going to show like 7 of the same stop.
Gotcha.
Right? Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I do a lot of like multi customers in one stop, and then also hotels, so like hotel valet, right? So it's tons of orders. Like I'm not gonna have my driver stop and like take pictures of every single one.
Right.
They can, and regardless, you'd see it when they scan it out too.
Gotcha.
All right. So that leads to So HQ. So a couple cool things on the routes there, but I think scheduling is a very powerful tool. Just show of hands, or maybe Alex can start a poll. How many of you guys schedule?
None of it. I don't.
Yeah, and so I think I used to not, but it just saves tons of money, right? Because
Well,
and I'm
yeah,
not thinking-
I get it too, because Google, Smart sets it up for you like the stops in a row, and they always start closest to the plant, and I can never figure that out. You know what I mean? Why not start farther away? So when you get closer, you save time. You know what I mean? But I get it. I like the scheduling thing. That's a great.
yeah, for scheduling by the routes. But so you can schedule on demand, but you can even schedule your employees, right? And I think scheduling employees is important. A lot of us use pen and paper, or just assume, okay, you're 9 to 5, Monday to Wednesday, and then whatever, right? But by creating a schedule, you can start tracking patterns, like how many people stay X amount of hours after their shift. How many people are clocking in early? Do I want to prevent that? Things I talked about before. Our scheduler is extremely robust. It's not just like, oh, this person's working this day. You can have people working on different locations. It's a great planning tool. It starts calculating and flagging anything that's going to hit overtime. So over here, right, I'm already at close to 40 hours, and then I add another shift. It turns it red. All right. You can work different locations. I can go into a location, and you can have people work different positions. So if my cleaner's out for the day, or my whoever's out for the day, right? I can swap people around, right? It's also
Are you using that just for CSR side or production as well?
Production as well. Everybody in the building.
So you actually schedule pressers, drivers, and whatnot, particular schedule?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, especially my drivers, because I'm scheduling them to different routes, right? And so if I have to move that around, or if I need someone to do pickup and delivery and another person to do shuttle, Yeah,
But what if
no,
they don't finish their delivery by the time they're supposed to be off the clock?
right. Then their shift will be flagged. And so, yeah, on the next page, I'll show you, what happens in that scenario, right? So it gives you all these business intelligence tools. But real quick, before we move on, I just want to show you, it's super convenient. So we have pretty smart features where if Justin here worked 9 to 5 this day, right? Then over here, it's, oh, that's his default shift. So we'll use Alex here. So he's working 9 to 5. It auto assumes the last shift I entered for the person. So just little like ergonomic tools to make it really fast. I can save schedules as default, or leave them as is. I can copy from last week, auto generate. So it's not like every week you're punching in a new schedule.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's really more or less like most of our employees work a pretty consistent schedule, right? And so here and there we'll have little tweaks. So yeah, I think for people to use it, it needs to be really like user friendly and like really quick. Right?
You got to get Rick out of overtime.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
no, I need the money. I need the money.
So here in time approval, right? We're not just approving how much time they worked. We can see how much time they worked in comparison to their scheduled shift. We can also, it'll report flags like this, right? Like this person wasn't on a planned shift, Alex, right? Also, he didn't clock out, so it auto clocked him out. So these are like different flags that we see. When I go into approve a time, I'm not just seeing their payroll data, I'm also seeing their production data. So as your managers approving time for the day, they're also seeing what they did for the day. How many pieces they detailed for the day, how many garments they pressed for the day,
Wow.
Yeah. And then also TTFA is one I like. It's an acronym for time to first activity. So and granted, this is all demo data, but basically what it's tracking is from when I clocked in, how much time lapsed before I did anything, right? So if someone clocked in and then didn't do anything for 30 minutes, it's a pattern that you might flag, so.
Yeah.
And so all this, what it does is the system does it so you don't have to, or your managers don't have to, manage PTO requests, any holidays. You could have internal notifications go to your managers, right, or your employees, right? So flags, any flags like if an employee, was late to their shift, or whatever, right? You can set thresholds and have it text your manager or the employee that's managing. And all this is included. Like these aren't like upsells or anything. Like this is just base our system, right? These are all the cool tools we have, all right? If you're doing your dishes every day, which is approving your times every day, payroll takes 2 minutes, right? I have 120 employees. It takes me 2 minutes.
Wow.
So let me zoom out here. So, basically you have your payroll period, right? These are hours. I just do a quick dummy check. I can sort by regular overtime hours. If you see any flags here, I can go and see all their shifts, right? How much money they made. You can set cool automations. And I think this is cool because I think it's important that we incentivize and reward, stellar performance, right? So you can do like a PPOH bonus. Right, every payroll, if their personal PPOH is more than like, say 40, right? Then, you can give them like a $20 bonus or $200 bonus, right? Auto sync that. So that's a pretty cool feature we have as well. Or you could just add one manually. And you can export the CSV and then you just import that straight into your payroll provider or give it to your accountant. All right. So moving on to, but real quick. So yeah, but that's really the reason why we have it all together. It just makes sense, right? Like I want to not just be able to track an employee's time, I want to track their productivity against that time. I think that's so important, especially because labor is getting expensive. Finding good people is getting harder. So on that note, I think for me, this labor over sales report, this is my snapshot as a business owner of or what I use to kind of gauge my health of the business, right? Because it's not about your top line, it's about your bottom line. And again, labor is going to affect that bottom line the most, right? So here you'll see, your incoming sales, your outgoing sales, your average ticket size, but also your labor costs by the day and your labor percent over sales. Again, I wish my labor percent was 10%. This is all just, demo data, but you can start seeing any trends because they'll show you week by week, right? So, if you see an uptick, right? So here was 9.2, 10.1, 10.6. See an uptake. You get that tactical level data like instantaneously to make a decision off of it, right? At the same time, data is everywhere. So, I can see what my every individual employee, what their hours were for each day, and then also positions in departments, right, by week, and any trends regarding it. So why do we track labor? Another is, well, that's the majority of our costs when it comes to piece, so it should dictate our pricing, right? Because how many of y'all are like me and you either base your prices off a gut feeling or off your competitor, right? Well, this will tell you, outside of like materials and utilities and stuff like that, how much labor it costs you to process that piece. And we do that by calculating the labor costs against the amount of time it took to process that garment. So you can see your volume of, different items and how much it costs in terms of time. So that's pretty cool. So then you can use that as your baseline. So you need to at least charge X amount more than that. So for me, I charge like 80% at least more than what my labor cost for that piece is.
So it costs $1.52 to clean a pair of socks.
According to this, but again, grain of salt with this data. This is all. This is just demo.
Do you press those? Do you press those? I'm just kidding. That's amazing.
But yeah. So I think something really cool that we do is being able to not just communicate with your customer and send them notifications, but being able to segment your,
or I'm on a Zoom meeting.
Being able to segment your customers and send different promotions or campaigns to them, right? So for example, I want to see how many customers haven't come to me since, say, April 1st. So the last visit date was before April 1st, okay? So now I have these guys. I can also set like who spent more than X amount with me or whatever, right? But I can choose these customers and then send them a broadcast. Like come back broadcast, right? Attach a text message, right? Hi.
Looks like someone drew on the whiteboard. We got to find an eraser. We knew someone was going to draw on here.
And then you can add different variables here, like customer's name, and like hi. So it's all automated, so you don't have to write every single one. So like it'll be like, hi Alex, we miss you, right? And then you can create a promotion, have it a percentage-based discount, fixed amount, apply it to different items, let it be stackable, not stackable. And then you can send that to that group of customers. I think that's a very powerful tool, especially during slow seasons, right? It's a great way to increase cash flow. Like even something like, like let's say for me, slow season February, right? I'll do like, hey, 40% off everything, but only on this day, right? And it'll give me some extra cash flow to go through the month, right? So just different ideas there. I do the I do it so that customers that haven't come in 60 days, I always send them a 20% off or $20 off promo, right? But when it comes to promos, we don't want to just track how much it did. We want to track the after action report. So average spend, 30 and 60 days before we sent them the promo, and then their average visits. And then also we track what changed 30 and 60 days after that promo. So from that, you can kind of gather what works for you, right? Because that might be different from what works for me. So we'll open it up for questions. I did talk a lot. Thanks for bearing with me through this presentation. Y'all have any questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes, sir.
I'm not an operator, but I'm talking to a lot of operators. I know it's early days, but did you figure out what the bogey is for the system to make sense for somebody? Like, is it somebody that has, one plant, 3 routes and does 1.5 million or more? The system will pay for itself in a matter of 1.6 years. Do you have any data like that yet?
I don't. But no, that's a great question. But the way it's designed is for every shape and size of a dry cleaner, right?
Even one without a route, I guess, right?
Even one without a route, right? You still want to be communicating with your customers. You still want to give them a strong virtual experience, right? And it also gives you it inherently becomes your SOP, like your system, so that when you scale, right, you're not having to tackle it all at once.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
And you could maybe, I'm sure somebody's going to ask about the cost. I do remember you telling me when I visited you, but I know there's an upfront cost and then there's an ongoing cost and then there's probably a cost per location or something like that.
Correct. Yeah. So we don't do it by stations or anything like that or users. We do it just by location, right?
Okay.
We have a floor cost, and so your first location is $500, and then each additional location is $125.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a cost for initial setup, right?
Correct. And that just depends. Like we're just asking that, like our travel costs be covered, right? So it depends on how far they are, how complicated the operation is, but typically, it's like 5K, and that involves everything like data transfer. And that's another really big point is what we do is we make it so there's no stress on you on switching day. Like switching a point of sale is very stressful.
That was my next question is like, so if somebody's using one of these other companies, is there a downtime? Do you have to do it at night?
Nope.
So they can operate as usual, and then you just turn a switch.
Yeah. Well, it would have to be done like it would be like at night we do it. So basically, wherever you left off, the previous day, the next day, you'll be on Magnoli, and you just pick up right where you left off. Right.
Okay.
You don't have to have everything assembled and racked and whatever. You don't have to, rebarcode things. Like, it's truly as frictionless as it possibly can be.
So my assumption then is you guys come in, you actually start training them on the system before it goes live. So when it does go live, they're up to speed.
Correct. And we have a learning management system that has, all the different modules pertaining to all the different jobs, right? And as a manager or an owner, you can track how much progress they made into that module. And then there's quiz questions too, right? That's another reason why we go on site is to train, right?
Yep.
We want everyone to leave very confident that this is going to help their business.
Okay. Yeah, it seems very reasonable to me.
Hey, Justin.
Yes, sir.
How does your system compare? We have 12 stations in 4 different locations. 2 of the locations are drop stores with laundromats attached. How does your system run like can you run wash and folds? Can you do normal standard, like currently we have smart in a laundromat now, but I'm sure, how does this compare to like click, wash and fold, charge the customer, credit card on file, and
Oh
go
yeah.
with?
Oh, great questions. So credit card on file, of course, through the OPC, so the customer can add it, or you can add it on the point of sale side as well, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I can add a card on file. I don't have it hooked up to the demo account,
Right,
but
right.
and then for wash and fold, we actually have a wash and fold station so that we can actually track PPOH for wash and fold specifically. But we have customers with laundromats, so we think of like also like retail items, like if you sell Coke, right, and you got to charge sales tax on that, so you can do that as
Right.
well.
Right. Okay, great. And we have of course, we're with the cleaner marketing company for all of our locations. So you do work with cleaner marketing, correct?
Yeah, and we welcome all marketing agencies, services, anything else. I think having a strong ecosystem is very important for our industry, and so yeah, I think it makes their life easier, your life easier. You can see more metrics directly inside your app as well,
Right.
Yes, but yeah, we provide the tools, they provide the service, right? And so
Great. I just wondered about them.
Sorry, sir.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, I was done. I was just thanking him.
Justin, quick question here. We're currently using Smart, and we integrated everything with Smart. Our website, our SEO, our marketing. We subscribe to every one of their services. By switching to Magnoli, does the website need to be changed as well? Because it is it was done by Smart.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
But I can get back to you with that. But no, but stuff we can help facilitate for sure,
And my other question is, I went through a seminar with Alex and Rick. They did a great job, actually. And all the little key touch points that are beside every pressing area, is that included in the initial startup cost, or are those extra? This is the hardware extra.
So no. So it's designed to, I'm a dry cleaner too, right? I'm mindful of my hardware costs, everything, right? And so we try to keep it as frictionless as possible in terms of like switching costs, right? And so for hardware, it's really a matter of what hardware you have now, and what hardware you'd want to buy to kind of support other functionality. Like if you have production stations already, then you probably don't have to buy anything, if you want that. But then, if you do, we'll just give you a couple options on Amazon, or we can order it for you,
I'm specifically asking about the touch points by the pressing when they start a garment and when they finish a garment, so that we can track production and piece count that way. Are those like screens add-ons, or do you just buy those and it's all integrated in Magnoli?
Oh, yeah, it's just the cost of like what you would need is like a computer monitor and a scanner. In terms of like subscription costs, like software, like what we charge you, we don't charge you any extra for that.
Okay, but the hardware you'd have to go and get and set up a touch point at every press, for example.
Yeah, and Dino, we have vendors that we work with, and we can hook you up with them. You can get a touchscreen pressing station for like less than $700, and then just get them to get a scanner with it. So you talk about $700-800 for a pressing station.
Yeah, or like you can even keep it like really cheap by like just getting like a cheap Amazon like $100 tablet and like a $50 scanner, but it's not a good experience for the operator, right? But it really just it works with anything you want it to work with almost, right? Unless it's like a Linux. I don't know if we're
I just like the whole. I mean, we all have great staff, and our staff work hard for us. It's not like that we're trying to interrogate them, but you know, for a company to become more efficient and profitable, these are the things, these are the little things, you know, the nickels and the dimes and the quarters that add up every hour. You know what I mean? And I
Absolutely.
mean, it's one of those things that really attracted me to Magnoli because in order for you to get a complete cost per piece, for example, I mean, it hasn't been done as of yet, and you guys seem to be the first ones to have captured how to monitor it and also and manage it. So you know, that's something that really impressed me. And my last question, because I know other people want to speak to, is are you always in Las Vegas or?
Oh, like in terms of like where I live in Las
Yeah.
Vegas, but in terms of implementation, you know, if you move forward, I'll see you in person. Me and Mike, the whole gang, we all go out, and so you know, I think it's great. It helps us build our product even further, you know, and also, you know, I just love seeing other cleaners, boots on the ground, and you know, just I'm sure I can learn a ton from you, and also, yeah, no,
You know,
I'm
you just triggered something. Sorry, guys. I know I'm hogging the mic now. My apologies. Which user is switching over to Magnoli? Have you noticed a dominant brand that their customers leaving to come to you guys?
No. You know, it's a mix of shapes and sizes and past experiences, and so yeah. But we can support one store. We can support 1,000 stores in terms of you know, customer, however many locations they have.
Justin, from a hardware perspective for the pressers, we have the Westnick devices that we currently do for piece counting. Would we be able to reuse them?
That's a great question. I have not kicked off that conversation with them, but you know, if they are willing, we are willing and able to integrate. And so,
Yeah, I think it's just a Windows device. I mean, I have. Okay.
Yeah, so I can look into that for you.